Howdy Groovers, it's your old pal DeAndre, and before I get into this next FlightSimExpo 2018 interview with FSDT's Umberto Piccioni, hope I said it right that time, just a bit of a heads up, the quality of this video was really bad. It was at the end of the event. Everyone was already breaking up their booths and packing up, and there just really wasn't enough time to make sure the camera and everything was properly set up, which of course it wasn't. So the quality is really bad. But that said, it was a very informative interview, and to finally have Umberto on camera for the very first time is definitely a treat. So I certainly hope you enjoy. Again, apologies for the video quality, but I think it should be all right. And I do hope to see you at FlightSimExpo 2019 in Orlando. Show up. I'll see you there. All right. Oh, first of all, I'm going to try to pronounce your name and hopefully I get it right, right?
All right.
Umberto Piccioni?
Not quite. Umberto Piccioni.
I gotta get that. Umberto.
Yes.
Colapiccioni.
Colapiccioni. K. Strong K.
K.
A very strong K.
Do it one more time.
Colapiccioni.
Colapiccioni.
It's very strong.
It has to be very strong.
Very strong.
Italiano.
Yes.
I am a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for coming out to this event, this first annual FlightSimExpo 2018. Yeah. This is amazing. So many developers have come out.
Yes, it's very nice.
It's great. I mean, developers that have not signed on or even sponsored it have shown up. Coronado was walking around here earlier. I was just really excited, everyone that's here. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm glad you're here, because you are one of the biggest developers in history, and a lot of people that know you today may not have known you from 10, 15, 20 years ago.
25 years.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Matthias Koch from Aerosoft year before last. And one of the interesting things that we learned is that the two of you worked together at some point in time, I think maybe back in the 90s.
Yes, in the
or
90s,
something like that.
Because Matthias used to work for Lago, and we worked together as well. We made the old Honolulu scenery for Lago, and Matthias worked for them as a product manager. So
yeah, and Lago, for anyone who hasn't heard of it, you guys were way ahead of your time. You did scenery. I think you guys did like a hind, like a helicopter or something like that, right?
Yeah, we made many stuff. We also made, we re-released the old ATP from Sublogic.
That's right.
It was fun time. I mean, it's all more than 20 years ago. Yeah.
It was a completely different time back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then at some point you went from Lago. I remember exactly what happened with Lago's demise, but you became a part of the team known as Cloud9.
Yeah, but I was acting just as a consultant, basically.
Okay.
Because they did the products, I just helped them doing support. I didn't do many products from them.
Okay.
Then we start working with Microsoft. So we did the FA18, which is included in the FSX.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
We did the virtual cockpit and Captain Sim, the external.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so it was really well received because of very nice. It's quite complex for a default airplane.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah.
So we did it for Microsoft. We found we were working well together. So we started FSDT team in 2007. Okay. So it's 11 years right now. We're running as FSDT team.
Now I remember how I came across FS Dream Team. I was using. I had made my first trip to Zurich Airport, I think in 2005, somewhere around there. And the first thing I did when I got home was I need an add-on for Zurich.
Yeah.
And I found this website called MailSoft or FlyLogic or whatever it was.
Yeah, there are Swiss guys.
Yep, Swiss guys.
Mail order Swiss guy,
Yep, so I bought that, but what it didn't have was the eDock terminal, the new terminal, which was new back then at the time. So I used that for, I think a few years, maybe it was 2 years I used that. And then I thought, man, I really want that terminal. Someone must be doing it.
Yeah.
And so I just started going online and searching, and then I came across FSDT.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who you were or what the background was, but all I saw were these in development shots of this new Zurich, and it was beyond anything I had ever seen in quality.
It was our first scenery release under our name. And yes, it did very well. Then we reached Chicago.
Yep.
And then we focused mainly on US airports after that, because, well, Zurich was very well received.
Yeah.
But
I love it. It's still one of my favorite cities.
Yeah. But of course, back then, 10 years ago, there wasn't much US airports. Well, today is different, but back then it was difficult to find US airports. So we did Chicago, we did JFK. Someone told me that doing JFK in FSX wasn't possible.
I remember people saying that.
People say, no, that's not possible to do JFK.
Because it's like doing 10 airports in one.
Yeah. And FSX is too slow. But of course, the hardware catch up eventually.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. And so now here we are. FSDT is well established. Number of projects. The most recent projects, how they've been received so far?
Well, quite well. I mean, obviously, our main product is GSX because it's a global product. So an airport will never be as popular as a global product. Because of course GSX, you can choose it everywhere.
Anywhere, yes.
That makes the difference because so GSX is our main product.
Yes.
And of course a lot of people are asking for a remake of the old ones because Chicago looks dated, it's outdated, looks dated. JFK looks a bit dated. So our plan in the future after Chicago will be revisit all our old airports and doing them again. So,
and upgrade them, really?
Yes, probably JFK will be the next, LAX will be the next, probably.
So yesterday, Well, so even like with Cloud9, I remember LAX, that was a favorite of mine. Amsterdam was a favorite of mine. Going into FSDT, and I'm not one of those kind of people that I don't really like to compare developers to developers. But obviously there was another program out there that would bring you ground services and jet bridges and all of that. But the problem with that is that, it was at the mercy of those developers to get them done for an airport. And I can tell you, at that time, I wouldn't buy an FSDT airport until it had that product, which kind of probably made things difficult for developers to have to rely on a third party. And the great thing about GSX is it doesn't matter anymore. You can fly into a default airfield and get services. You can go to your biggest airport. No matter what, you can get services. And that was something that the community really needed. And you guys have taken it to the extreme. So yesterday morning, you were part of the 5-minute developer demonstrations here in the main ballroom. You didn't get to finish your presentation, but I heard a lot of oohs and ahs going on in the crowd with regards to what you were showing off. So tell us about these.
Well, a feature I was able to show was the interior of the new Chicago Airport terminal, because we have a feature you can walk in. We have a special custom collision system. So, for example, the avatar in P3D is able to, for example, climb stairs without falling off. And we have triggers. For example, when you go close to a door, the door will open automatically. And we load the interior.
That was one of the moments.
Yes,
you walked up to the door, it slid open, you walked inside, and there was a McDonald's, and everyone just went crazy.
And there is a working AI panel showing the actual AI departure times, destination times, and it's working. And it's modeled just like the real one.
I remember there was, I used to be, and I still am really, but a huge advocate of like the internal modeling and the details inside of airports. And people used to shoot me down all the time saying it's unnecessary and it's a draw on memory and performance. And now these are features that people have come to expect with their products.
Yes, of course. Since we have 64 bits now, I mean, memory is less of an issue. Well, of course, frame rate is still an issue. So
for a lot of people,
it is.
We
have to optimize.
Yes.
So it's not an excuse for not optimizing sceneries. So yes, it will not crash probably, but we should have to be careful about frame rate.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that people want to know at home is now that you have this platform that can do anything, does that mean you're going to just go to the extremes and shoot for the moon and then the frame rates just come right back down?
We try to optimize, we try to not load things where not needed. We use some native features in Prepare 4, like the new PDK, which is a way to use DirectX to render textures instead of painting them. So for example, we use C++ code to render the AI panel, for example, and it doesn't take any memory, it's dynamic, because we only draw the panel when the page changed. So it's pretty much optimized. We have individual jetway numbers over the jetway, and we draw them using DirectX. So since they don't ever change, They are static objects, basically. We only draw one frame and that's it. So,
right.
compared to having to model each jetway individually with just each separate texture for each one.
Right.
So it's much better. But of course, it only works with Prepare 4.
Exactly.
So that's why we are not doing for FSX.
So has FSDT officially moved to a prepared exclusive developer, or do you?
For airport, yes.
Okay.
Yes, GSX, we're still working on FSX for a while. Maybe not with all the features, for example, but we'll still work with FSX for a while. Of course, yes. Eventually, we'll move on from FSX entirely.
I guess it's inevitable.
Inevitable, yeah.
Now, again, before I try to describe what's happening on the screen, which is blowing me away, one of the things you were showing in that room as well is you can now have, no matter whether you're at a default airport or Flight Tampa Airport, you can have glass jet bridges if you want them.
Exactly.
There are different type of styles and models of jet bridges. How many can you choose between currently in your program?
We have about 80 different models.
Okay.
From a couple of different manufacturers, like ThyssenKrupp or JBT.
Yep.
Because there are only 4 or 5 manufacturers
that make them. Yeah.
So they make them all. So, and it's probably easier for us to update them with new models. So eventually, every jetway in the world will be available in GSX. Because the main issue is when you do a scenery, sometimes scenery don't model all different models because it's a lot of work. So they usually maybe do 2-3 different models for the scenery, and that's it. But in real life, each parking have its own customized jetway because they come in different sizes, they come in different styles, different tunnels, 3 tunnels, 2 tunnels.
Exactly.
So we have all the real world models in, and by default we replace all the jetway worldwide with a generic model which is compatible in measurement with the default one. It just looks better, but it's compatible. So just installing, without doing anything, you have the replacement. But of course, we can go customize it and choose the model, choose a bridge, choose a color, choose the accessories.
That's just unbelievable. You can put like your own logos on the jet bridges if you want.
We supply with many popular logos, but use a kind of paint them because they're just very easy. And you can decide which accessories you want to use. For example, you want some power, you want air conditioning, and they can be
that are attached to the externals of the jet bridge.
And also we are talking with several airplane developers. For example, FS Labs or TFDI or Aerosoft are going to support this. For example, you connect the jetway, we set a variable, they can read, and for example, they can turn on the external power on the airplane if they want.
Wow.
So the same for the air conditioning.
So you mean to tell me that like a little guy is going to go out there and pull the cables from the jet bridge?
Not yet. I mean, it's technically possible with Prepare 3D4. There is an API to do wire simulator. Okay. But right now it's in infancy because you cannot control the appearance. So
but once the jet bridge is connected to the aircraft, you then have a ground power option available.
If the airplane is default, we'll just keep the battery charge, just like FSUPC. Okay. So if the airplane has a custom electrical system, we don't touch it. Yeah. We just set the variable, then we'll be up to the airplane developers to do whatever they want to do.
And all they need to run is SODI, right? The Sim Objects Display Engine. Is that what's needed in order to do this?
Yeah. The jetway are SODI. Okay. So we supply all the features that SODI has, and they're just regular SODI jetways. So, for example, if developers want to support our system, and they can just make a SODI jetway and just set a couple of parameters. They are only needed for the next feature.
Yes, and going here. The people probably can't see this, and I'm not sure if there's a video online or yet for anyone to see this, but people are walking outside of the 747. They're walking across the tarmac and then boarding a waiting bus.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the other big feature of the GSX expansion, animated passengers. That people are asking for this on our forum for years.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. I always said we'll get there eventually with 64-bit, so we delivered.
And now you're there, and I mean the animations, everything just looks incredible.
Yeah, we animated every single passengers individually. So
yeah, they're different. They're wearing different clothes.
Yeah, they're different walking styles because there is a child with walk in a different way. There's a businessman who walk.
This lady's on heels,
Yes,
and this
yes,
guy's
yes,
got
yeah.
his bag. And how far away are we looking for this update? And will it be a paid update or?
Yes, it will be a paid update, but
Yep.
it won't replace GSX.
So this is an add-on.
It's an add-on, yes,
Okay.
because the regular GSX will continue to be updated forever.
Yep.
We stay like this. This is just an option.
Okay.
So it will be out somewhere in around September, we think.
Oh,
Because
that's
it's
exciting.
almost done.
It's almost done.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is going to be great. And I'm assuming they will also walk down the jet bridges.
Yes, of course.
Connected
Yes,
to the
of course.
airport,
Because
right?
if you have a transparent jetway,
Yes.
you will see the passengers.
You will see the passengers boarding and disembarking.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You're a legend in this community.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to us that you've come all the way from Italy to show off your works and support us. And what can I
Thank
say?
you.
I'm just excited. I love your products, and I look forward to whatever else you come up with.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
a lot. Thanks to you.
All right. And we'll hopefully see you next year.
We hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. See you. Excellent.